I'm going to call a special meeting of the Board of Aldermen to order on Monday, September 25th, 2023 at 7 p.m. in the Alderman Chamber. Prayer will be offered by Alderman at Large Mike O'Brien, and Alderwoman Gloria Timmons will lead us in the pledge to the flag.
Almighty God, we have the high honor and the serious duty of managing the affairs of our beloved city. Fill us, O God, with a spirit of unity and understanding, which enables us to face our multiple problems with a serene mind, with justice and charity for all, so that any and all decisions made by us will be for the betterment and greater happiness of all our fellow citizens. So help us God. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yep.
Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call.
Thank you, Madam President. Alderman O'Brien is present. Alderman Sullivan.
Here.
Alderman Clay.
Here.
Alderman Moran. Alderman Lopez.
Here.
Alderman Jettie.
Here.
Alderman Clemens.
Here.
Alderwoman Kelly. Alderman Como. Alderman Dow.
Present.
Alderman Gaveva. Alderman Karen.
Here.
Alderman Theobald. Alderwoman Timmons.
Here.
Alderman Wilshire.
Here.
We have 11 present. Also in attendance, Madam President, is His Honor the Mayor, James W. Donches. And that's it. Thank you.
I believe we have 10 in attendance.
Who's that?
10 in attendance.
10.
Yep.
10. Sorry, my bad. Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
Also joining us this evening is Mayor Donches, CFO Griffin, Nick Marzovich from IT, Tim Cummings, Jen DeShays from Risk Management. As is customary, I'm going to turn the public hearing over to Alderman Dowd.
Yes, tonight we're going to have a public hearing on R-23-154 relative to the supplemental appropriation of $425,000 of FY 2023 assigned fund balance into Department 128 Risk Management, account 89,650, transfer to Property and Casualty Self-Insurance Fund. You want anyone else to come up with you, or you want to take a chair, or you want to just, it's up to you.
Whatever your pleasure is. I'll just make
All
my
right, go ahead.
comments now, and I'll take a seat if need be. For the record, Tim Cummings, Director of Administrative Services. I have Jennifer Deshays of the Risk Office, and then Nick Misevich of the IT Department with me as well. We're here tonight just as a follow-on to a conversation that we actually started on August 8th, where we provided the Board of Aldermen in a non-public session a detailed update on the cyber event that occurred back last spring, and at that time we had articulated that we were going to need additional funding. So before you is legislation asking that $425,000 be transferred into the Risk Department so we continue to manage and combat the cyber event that occurred. We are in the fourth and final stage of this initiative. We hope to have it wrapped up soon, and then we would be looking to finalize what we need to do relative to our obligations, both legally and to the community. We won't know what that is until we wrap up phase 4, but I would anticipate us needing to come before you one last time for funding for us to be able to execute on the plan as outlined by our attorneys after they get done with this analysis. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Are there any questions for Director Cummings? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll now open the public hearing on R23-154. I'll now take testimony in favor. Seeing none. Testimony in opposition. Seeing none. Once again, testimony in favor. Seeing none. And once again, testimony in opposition. Seeing none. I will now close the public hearing on Resolution R23-154 at 7:05 PM. Alderman O'Brien?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to make a motion that the September 25th, 2023 special meeting of the Board of Aldermen be adjourned. And I have here by roll call, but we have no one on Zoom. So are we required to roll call, Mr. Chairman?
I think it's a public hearing. I think.
No.
Might not. No? Then by voice vote.
Voice vote is appropriate?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. It's your call, Mr. Chairman.
Yep. Voice vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned at 7:06 PM. We will be followed immediately by the budget meeting. Okay. Okay, I'd like to call the Budget Review Committee to order. It's September 25th, 2023. We're in the Aldermanic Chamber, and it is 7:06 PM. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman John Sullivan.
Here.
Alderwoman at Large Roshana Kelly is absent. Alderman Ernest Jettie.
Here.
Alderman June Karen.
Here.
Alderman at Large Laurie Wilshire.
Here.
Alderman at Large Michael B. O'Brien Sr. is present. And our chairman, Alderman Richard A. Dowd.
Present.
Also in attendance, Mr. Chairman, will be Tim Cummings, of Administrative Service Director, John Griffin, CFO Treasurer and Tax Collector, and His Honor the Mayor, James Donches.
Okay.
You forgot one. I'm here too.
I forgot you? Yes. Allow me to write in Alderman at Large Timmons
And Ben.
And Ben.
and Ben,
And Alderwoman Clee.
Mr. Clements.
And Clee.
That's okay.
You don't get
Okay. First item on the agenda is public comment. Is there anyone that wishes to provide public comment? Seeing no one? Communications?
Yes, for us this evening, we have a late correspondence from Tim Cummings, Administrative Service Director. The reason is expenditure of funds for cyber attack events.
There's no objection. We'll read that into the agenda. Okay. Does everybody have a copy?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Unfinished business?
There is none.
New business resolutions?
Before us this evening is R 23-152, establishing the use of fund balance for the tax rate. Mr. Chairman, I would like to make the motion to recommend final passage.
All right, the motion on the floor is to recommend final passage to the full board of R 23-152, establishing the use of the fund balance for tax rate. Mayor and Treasurer?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes?
didn't we already adopt this at the last meeting?
We had first reading.
Okay, I looked at the minutes, and the minutes said that there was a motion for recommend final passage, and it was,
We approved this already.
Yeah, okay. Well, it was on the agenda, so we came anyway, but I think that might have.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned it's
We-
right. I don't know if Donna put it on here, but I was pretty sure we did that too, because I
It's
can
a
tell
third
somebody-
reading.
What?
It's a third reading.
No, but it will be on the agenda tomorrow
Tomorrow,
evening for
yeah.
final passage.
All right, so you don't need us.
Not unless you want to add something.
unless we make a motion
See you tomorrow.
to consider.
Unless we're doing another reading.
It's already passed. Okay, next item is R-23-154, Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you. Again, as the chairman has stated, before us this evening is R-23-154, relative to the supplemental appropriations of $425,000 of fiscal year 2023, assigned fund balance to Department 128, Risk Management, account 89650, transfer to Property and Casualty Self-Insurance Fund. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the motion to recommend final passage.
Motion on the floor is to recommend final passage to the full board of R-23-154. Director Cummings already provided input. Are there any questions before we vote? Alderman Sullivan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was hoping that both Director Cummings and Mr. Miservich might be able to kind of take us through where we stand right now, not only from a financial standpoint, how much have we spent so far on this incident, and then from the actual incident that's happened, kind of where are we in the process, just to kind of refresh our memory would be great.
If you'd both like to come up and take a seat. No?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if I may, again, Tim Cummings, Director of Administrative Services. We did that on August 8th in a non-public meeting. If you want to go into non-public, we'll be happy to have that conversation in more detail, but while this event is going on and until we get guidance from legal counsel, I wouldn't want to have too much comment in public.
Yeah, I realize you can only
Understood.
provide what's can't be discussed.
Can we get, do we have access to those minutes? How do we get access to those minutes? We have to unseal them?
City clerks. You can go
Okay.
on the city clerks.
All right,
They'll let you read them.
okay.
They're sealed, yeah, so you'd have to look at them privately. Alderman
Okay.
Clee?
Yeah, I had to do that in the past, and you go to the city clerk's office, they'll put you in a room with them, and you can read them. And if there's an audio, I think you can listen to it as well. I didn't, I just read what was written, so.
Okay.
But Mr. Healy will be able to.
Okay,
Thank you.
Clarification, point of order.
yes.
Where a records in a non-public meeting have been sealed by that particular board, it's really for the eyes only at that particular time of sitting alderman. Am I correct, Mr. Chairman, in assuming that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Jettie?
Since we're here, I mean, I'd be happy to make a motion to go into non-public. I just don't remember the formula. If you know,
You
someone
would
could
have-
provide me the wording, I'd be happy to make the motion.
It's under R-31.
Yeah.
We
Well,
should,
point of order again, Mr. Chairman. Did Director Cummings bring to our attention, besides just going into non-public, this item may need corporate counsel present? Am I correct? Is that what Director Cummings stated?
If I may clarify, I wouldn't want to be speaking without getting consultation with Corporation Counsel first on this very sensitive subject in relative to making public
So,
comments.
Mr. Chairman, if I may
Yeah.
be recognized, then I think at this particular time, I would not support that because without corporate counsel present, and we should perhaps wait till we have better authority on the matter.
if people would like to find out more information about what was covered in the non-public session, they're more than willing to do that, and if later with Corporation Counsel, see, you want to go in a non-public, we spell that out for a future meeting. But right now, I think we need to approve this so that we can proceed with the procedure that was laid out at that meeting and take care of the items that need to be taken care of, including paying our bills. Does anybody object with that? Alderman Jettie?
Well, if I could,
Yes.
you know, I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill here, but this is, you know, a fairly important matter, and I would, you know, maybe I'm wrong, but apparently I'm not the only, you know, I have a similar concern about, you know, where we stand and what's going on. You know, I don't want to make, you know, life any more difficult than it already is for the people dealing with this problem. But in the future, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems that if you're going to be coming to us and asking us to recommend the expenditure of an additional $425,000 to the full board, that you ought to come to the meeting prepared to, take questions, answer questions, and, make a full exposition of what the money's being used for. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think that the entire process was laid out at that non-public session. And you may not have been here, you may have been on vacation when we did that. But the whole process was laid out, and the times that they were going to have to come back for more funding was laid out. And I believe that the funding this right now is kind of on a critical timeline, unless I'm wrong, Director Cummings?
No, it is.
What?
It is on a critical timeline.
It's
So-
not on the agenda tomorrow night.
Yep, it's on the agenda for tomorrow night.
No, it's not.
It's not?
It's not. Unfinished business
No, I thought you said it
resolutions.
was.
This is a resolution, correct?
Yeah,
It's not. We could table this.
if we did, then we'd have to have another budget meeting.
Yeah.
We're already gonna have
Donna
another
can bring
budget
it in
meeting on
special.
the 17th, but how time critical is this, Director Cummings?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Chairman. It is critical. I was under the impression that this was going to get a verbal report for tomorrow night. I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not, but nonetheless, we have been in this position since August 8th or thereabouts, and so we've been waiting for this meeting. And we have consultants working on this matter, and so as soon as we can get this done, I would recommend it.
Alderman Cleen?
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, if I may ask the President of the Board, you have the ability, or we as a body have the ability, correct, to take something up that wasn't necessarily on the agenda under special consideration of some sort, is that correct?
You're looking for someone to give an oral report of tonight's meeting?
Right.
Yes,
And we can do that, and then we can vote on it as appropriate.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Director Cummings, were you anticipating that this was going to come up off of this agenda for tomorrow night?
I was.
So I think if people want to have a non-public and have Attorney Bolton here for a short period of time before we vote on it tomorrow, I assume we could do that. But be advised that if we take it up tomorrow night and then vote on it, we won't have another budget meeting. It won't go before budget, it'll go directly to the full board. And that's what I'll recommend if we're not gonna vote on it tonight. Questions? Alderman
More of
Sullivan?
a comment. I think it would be good to know this. I think it would be good to know in advance of tonight, an alert sent out or something to say, just to remind you of the timeline, this is a very sensitive piece of legislation. That was today's September 25th. That is almost 60 days ago. A lot has transpired between now and then. Some type of an alert to say, we're voting on this, it's gonna be on the agenda for this night. It would be good for you to refamiliarize yourself, if that's a word, with what's happened, where we are in the process, so you can vote on it.
Alderman Clee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I mean no disrespect to my colleague to my left here, but I think we've been elected to be sitting in these seats, and it is our job to do our homework. When there's something on the agenda, it behooves us to seek out that information, and we should not have to be treated like children and reminded that we have to bone up on something. So I apologize if it comes off sounding cocky, and I do apologize to you for that. I've heard this argument before, and the truth is, I think that we are adults, and we should do our homework. And I know you do. I've heard you speak to many of City Hall members and so on. So I think this might just been something you missed, so thank you.
Hey, in summary, I think what you're saying is, it was referred to this committee by a full Board of Aldermen meeting, so there was time prior to tonight's meeting. Alderman Clemmons, did you have?
My only comment is that, I mean, we scheduled a public hearing for this legislation. I mean, that is the notice. That's what the public gets, that's what we get. We're the ones who scheduled it, so.
And the public hearing requires a 7-day notice, so it's been on the books for at least more than 7 days. It was in the newspaper. Or newspapers. But if we don't want to act on it tonight, then I'll accept the motion to refer the question to the full board tomorrow night, and we'll have, if it passes, then we will have Attorney Bolton here for a non-public, but I don't know how much more information we're going to have. I don't see anybody entertaining that motion, so is there any further discussion on this motion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes. It will come up, I'm guessing, off the agenda tomorrow evening, and I'm sure that if necessary, we could go into a non-public, and Director Cummings and others can describe a quick review of the process and why it needs to be moved on quickly. I'm assuming it's to pay the people that we've hired to solve this issue. Okay, new business ordinances?
There is none.
Okay. Tabled in committee?
There are 2 agendas, but I see nothing before us to take them off the table.
Is there anything that needs to come off the table? Seeing none, general discussion? None? Public comment? None. Remarks by Alderman? Alderman O'Brien?
Thank you. I'd just like to give a shout out to Nashua Fire Rescue. Looks like they had a tough one. Just yesterday, I was home with the wife, and yes, I am retired, but I still have a scanner. I still listen. Mostly it's because it's not my scanner, it's the wife's scanner, you know. But she wants to make sure that my son is doing okay. But I listened to it. It sounded like an extremely difficult fire. Kind of reminded me of stuff we used to fight in the old days, old school. And I tell you, strong work, brothers, outstanding work, and you ought to be commended. That was in a tough neighborhood, very congested with Havana Street in the back and everything. So I tell you, I'm very proud of our force, National Fire Rescue. So they deserve a shout out. Thank you.
Anyone else? Alderman Kuhn?
Thank you. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but Main Street rail tracks are done. As of 1:36, I believe they opened up. It didn't go without incident. There was a sinkhole last night, and there was a CSX employee that had a very bad accident. I don't know how he's doing. I heard it was a broken femur from the rail falling on him. So it was those from the Jackson Falls condominiums. Jackson Falls condominiums worked through all the issues, and I want to give out a number of shout outs. Dan Hudson, our senior engineer Dan Hudson, was right on the ball. He was sending Jackson Falls messages when they could go in, when they couldn't, told them if you don't get out by a certain time, you're not coming out or going in, and he was outstanding. I know I've thanked everybody in the city, from the mayor to all the work that they've done, but there's one person that it's left out. Over maybe almost a year ago, I reached out to CSX
through Senator Shaheen's office. My point of contact at Senator Shaheen's office was Joanne St. John. She was truly, truly the person who gave me all the information so that I could get to the right person. And so I want to thank her, although my initial contact was not for this, it was for Thoreau's Landing. One led to another, and we had this done. So citizens matter. Someone like Joanne was very helpful. Our city employees were incredible at following up, and I know Director Cummings was chasing to find parking spaces for the Jackson Falls. It was such a great teamwork, and I want to thank everybody for all their help. So thank you.
Anyone else? Alderman O'Brien?
Yes, and thank you, Alderman Clee, for that update, but just to let Alderman Clee and the board know, the picture that is out there right after it opened, social media, they always say, at the right place at the wrong time, at the right place at the right time. The wife and I just happened to be there when they opened it up. She took the picture, although she's not credited in the photograph, but I'm going to start calling this Scoop. So, thank you.
Couple of things. Was a sinkhole under the tracks?
I'm not quite sure, but I believe it was on the side over by Jackson Falls, correct? Yeah,
Oh,
it was
okay.
right over that area too, which is where the CSX employee was also hurt.
Good thing
so-
that was taken care of before we lost the train.
Yeah.
The other thing, just to say, we had, the National Police Department had quite an active weekend, and one individual on School Street trying to take on 3 police officers, and I'm guessing that he lost in that confrontation, so the National Police is doing a great job as well, so. All right, anything else? Seeing none, Alderman O'Brien?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Motion is to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned at 7:27.